Hi, this is Michael from Expanse VR, and this is the next in my first-person shooter series for Unity 2021. And before I get stuck into it, I'd just like to say a Happy New Year to everyone, this being my first tutorial for 2021. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course click that notification button down below to make sure you are notified whenever I post a new tutorial for you. Now, since the first tutorial, there has been an update to Unity 2021, and if I just jump into Unity Hub, here is the release that I had on the first episode. They're now into the beta, and we have this one here which was released just on Christmas Day or just before Christmas Day. Now, you don't need to update your project if you don't want to, but I do advise that you do as we go along, simply because as they release this, the releases become more and more stable. Just to give you an idea, if we come over to the Unity log, you can actually see all the information on the releases. And here in the Unity 2021, you can see all the still the currently known issues and all the bug fixes that they have done. And that's not even from 07, which was the one I used. This is from Alpha 9. So again, as I said, I think in the first episode, that you do not need to use the 2021 release if you don't want to. I would actually recommend using the 219 LTS version, which is perfectly stable and have no issues. And at the moment, we're still not using anything really particular from 2021 that's not in 2019. But if you've got the latest version of 2021 and you want to stick with that, that's fine as well. Just know that you may come across a few little bugs as they sort things out over the year. So before we start actually diving right into the level, I'm just going to show you the additions that I've made to it, just to keep it more complete. And if you look down below in the description of this video, you'll actually see a GitHub link, so you can actually download this project now. And I'm going to keep this up to date, so depending on where I'm at in it, there may be even more stuff added in once you click on that GitHub link. But you will be able to check out the level and follow along. So obviously here is our main room that comes with snaps. I've created a couple more assistants for the stairs there so we can get up to it. So there's one there. I've also found that I had to extend out this platform here because I couldn't actually get around this corner here without it. And most importantly, I've included this hallway and this new big room here. And as you can see, this is all done with the snaps assets that's free on the asset store, so you can do quite a lot of prototyping with this to get some really interesting rooms. And next up, what we're going to be doing is actually making things a little bit more interactable. So if we go all the way back to the beginning to our start point, so the very first thing that we're going to be doing is making this door here interactable. And as you can see, I've actually pulled these out into on their own so that we can see. We'll actually make a folder first up. And we're going to call this one Interactables. And I'm going to bring all them into here. So that's all three doors that we're going to be interacting with. Now, already I've started to work on this first door, and the very first important thing that we need to do is create an empty object that we're going to actually hold the door in. And you're going to see why that's important very shortly. Before I forget, is we actually need to bring these consoles out because we're going to be making them interactable as well. And just pull them into the Interactables folder as well, just to make getting access to them a lot easier, as you can see at the moment. And I do apologize if you are looking at it this week, this folder here, week 3 and week 2 are a little bit of a mess. I will get around to cleaning them up to make them a lot more easier to navigate, just like the snaps level does here, how they have all their ones in subfolders. Okay, so now that we got that cleaned up, back to our first door. Now we're going to make a couple of scripts first off to get things started. We're going to create, first script is going to be our door behavior script. We're also going to create one for the console. And finally, and we still need to create this, is our light behavior script. And I actually haven't created that yet. So let's do that. You're going to see why we use that later on. But if we just go into prefabs, nope, must be props. Yes, we're going to use this spherical object, make it a lot smaller. Cool, that's great. Again, we call this door light 1. We're going to create a material. Door light material, and what we do is going to give this an emission, but first of all we'll just put this on here. And at the moment it's going to be a big bright red. Now at the moment we don't have any post-processing, so this isn't going to make too much of a difference. It will make a difference when we get to that section. But at the moment, we've just got a nice little indicator here to let us know that the door is locked. And let's just pull that over here. Done. Okay, so back to our first door. And our scripts. Oh, sorry, and where's our light, door light 1? We'll have the light behavior before we forget. This door here. Now, you don't want to add it to the door here. You want to add it to our empty, the interactable door. We're going to add the door behavior script to there. The next thing we also need to do is add a box collider. Just need to adjust it up, make it bigger, make it wider, and make it reach out to here. And what this is, and set it to trigger. And what we're going to do here is when we walk into this is what's going to allow us to have our interaction with our door here. And the reason why we've got it on this separate one is because we're going to animate this door to move. But we don't want this box collider to move. Hence why we've got it on the separate components. So just move that door back. So that's our next step, to add an animation to this. So what we're going to do is go to Window, Animation, go to Interactable door. So make sure you have it on the empty object again and do it here. So we go to Assets, create a new folder, Animations. Again, trying to keep everything nicely sorted. And we're going to call this door open. Now, again, I'm not going to go into too much details about how animations work. Just follow along with this one here. I will have a separate video coming shortly on animations to make your life easier. But just again, follow along with this. Is quite quick and easy. So we add property. Now, we don't want to click on the transform here yet. We want to click on our door and then click on transform and position. and click the add button over here. And as you can see, this will set us up for a minute worth of animation. Make sure to click the record button. We're going to go all the way over here. Now I'm going to show you why we're going to use animation and not just use a simple transform position, is because we can make this look a little bit smoother. Normally you can do this with curves, but again, I don't want to get it too technical. But we're going to click on this part here. Oh, no, sorry. We're going to click on our door. Move it across to about 3/4 done. We're then going to move over to here, about 125. Click this here, which will add a keyframe, and then we'll pull it the rest of the way. And what that's going to do when we push play, as you can see, nope, we haven't done it quite enough. Pull these keyframes over to maybe about 0.5. Try it again. Nope, we need to do it a little bit further. 0.4. And as you can see, it looks just that nice and smooth. It rushes first and then tapers off. Okay, so now let's just dock that down here. Now that we create our animation, we need, this way to do that is if we go to our animations, we've already got this here. We just find our interactable door. See, it's already set everything up for us as we need. So again, go to Window, Animation, Animator, and now we have our animation tree up. So automatically it's going to default to door open, and before I do forget, go to our door open and take loop off. And come back here and we're going to do right click, create state empty. We're going to name this idle. Set it as our default state because we don't want it to open. Now we're going to duplicate this, and this is where I'm going to show you a nice cool little trick. In just a second, we'll name this one door close. We then need to add a new trigger. Rename this to door. Actually, no. Add a bool. And we're going to call this door open. Make transition, drag, click on this one. Has exit time, click off to make sure that it goes straight to the animation when we click it. Click to add a condition, and door open true. So that should be come in straight away. So what will happen is that when we push play, it will create this door open once this boolean is set to true. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create another transition to door close. Same thing again, has exit time, and this time false. Now, when we click on this one, the trick of it here is that we don't need to create a new animation for the door closing. All we do is set this to -1 in speed. So just here. And it will actually run the animation in reverse. And then what we need to do is create another transition to go back to our idle state. And this, as long as we don't do any changes, will automatically go back to our idle state once it's done the door close animation. And we can test this out quite quickly. So if we just quickly go to our player, disable the player controller so the mouse doesn't interact with us. And if we just push play, and if we click on our door open boolean here, you'll see down the end that it opens up, and when we click off, it closes again. So yeah, it works perfectly at the moment. Now we just need it to actually interact with our player when we move. And before we forget, just make sure to click on that player controller script and activate it again. So quickly jumping into our scripts, let's work with our door behavior script. Just make this a bit bigger so it's easier for you to see. I think I forgot that in the last episode. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we want to make sure that this door can work for this script for our door can work for a couple of different types of doors. So first of all, we're going to create a bool of is lockable and set it initially to false, so we can have locked doors or unlocked doors. The next one we're going to have is stays open. And this will make sense very shortly as well. We are also going to need to have a reference to our animator. And very first thing we do in our start is cache that reference. So animator equals all right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this on trigger enter. Oh, and sorry, we're going to need one more thing. Private bool is locked. And after we get this one, if is lockable. So is it a lockable door? Of course, the first state we're going to want to do is locked equals true. Is locked. So what it's saying is if we make it a lockable door, the very first state it's going to be is a locked state. You can change that around if you want. For me, that usually works best. If we're having a lockable type door, normally they always start off as being locked. So all we want to do is on trigger enter, test to see. So remembering our pseudocode, what do we want to do? We want to first of all check if door is locked. If not locked, we want it to open. And then close if is not set to stays open, close door when player leaves trigger, leaves the collider. This will actually go into a separate one. This will actually go into our on trigger exit. So that's pretty much all our pseudocode wants to do. We do have one other thing that we will need to do later on is set lock state of door. Okay, so quite simple. If is locked, so we get a reference to our animator, set bool, and what did we call it? Door open. to true. And same thing on the exit. If, what do we call it? Not stays open. Or equal false. Okay, so let's jump back in and test to see if this all works. And we walk up to the door, we walk in the ladder, and there we go. It opens. We walk through, check, and it closes. We walk back into it, and it opens again. So working well. So the other thing that we've done here is if we look at our door, and we look at our door behavior script, you can see that we can actually make it so that when it opens up, it stays open now. So we walk up, we walk through, and now it stays open. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to save this as a prefab. So we'll go to our assets, create a folder for prefabs. And drag this in. And then what I'm actually going to do is drag a second one into our scene. I'm going to find both out those other doors. So copy its position. Actually copy component, delete it. We were pretty close, so drag it across. And I'm going to do the same for this one here. Drag it across. Return that. Here we're going to have to make a new one, so I'm just going to quickly rush through that for you. Now you don't have to do this with yourself, but what I'm actually going to do is create myself a new animation. Just to do something a little bit different. And click record. And this one, I'm going to make go up. Another keyframe. Move it all the way up. And probably about there. Push play to test. Oh, let's bring that back down again here, same as before. Nice. Again, just rushing right through this. Now it's very important when we do this because we want to be able to reuse the animations. So we do it the same way, bool, and we use the same bool name. And I forgot to take loop off. Try that again. Oh, and change the speed to -1 as well. Excellent. Okay, so now I've got my doors set up. What we would like to do is I want to make this door here, the one up here, locked. So when we come up to here, I'm going to change it to is lockable. So when we first start the game, it's going to be locked. We need to do something to unlock it. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it that this console here is going to unlock our door. So originally this video was going to include using the panels and also using events to streamline this whole thing, but unfortunately this has gone a little bit longer than I originally intended. So I'm actually going to split this now into 2 videos. So this will be the first part, and the second part will actually incorporate all those other parts. So thank you for joining in, have a happy new year, and I'll see you in the next video. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and share to help grow our beautiful Unity community, and don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification button below to make sure you get to see our next video. See you shortly.